Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Colleen Winder. From fires in Hong Kong and a lawsuit against the president's administration from a major grocery store, plus a legendary restaurant in the Pittsburgh area is closing its doors. All this and more coming up on NewsNight. Thousands of Palestinians who are in need of aid will be able to leave Gaza through its main gateway, Rafah. The coordination of government activities in the territories unit of the Israeli Ministry of Defense and Egypt will be responsible for opening this crossing under the supervision of the EU in the next coming days. Despite the ceasefire agreement stating both the entry and the exit to Gaza will reopen, the crossing will open only from Gaza to Egypt, with the Israeli government stating that the entry in Gaza will reopen once the remaining captives in Gaza were returned. Operations of the Rafah crossing are unclear, but thousands of Palestinians in need of medical attention, around 16,500 according to the WHO, will be able to seek it abroad. Canada has become the first non-European Union country to gain access to the EU's Loan Defence Fund, Security Action for Europe. The program will allow Canadian defence companies to take out loans from the European Union and expand selling into that market. This marks a continued trend of Canada looking to diversify itself away from America under the leadership of the Prime Minister Mark Carney due to the Trump administration's tariffs and rhetoric towards the country. Carney has stated previously that Canada will reduce its military spending to the U.S. by more than 70 cents of every dollar. Recent fires in Hong Kong destroyed high-rises, and there is some controversy how the government is handling the situation. Sophia Weiss is in the studio to tell us more.
This past Wednesday, a massive fire tore through and destroyed several high-rise buildings in Hong Kong. Authorities stated on Sunday that the death toll from the incident is now up to 159. 7 out of the 8 towers at the Wang Fuk Court Complex caught on fire. The complex houses over 4,000 people, and authorities have mentioned that the netting and insulation used during renovations on the building could have contributed to the fire. 30 people are still missing from the incident after investigators continue to search the remaining 2 towers. Several groups in Hong Kong have criticized the leaders of the Chinese-ruled city to take accountability since they believe the fire could have been prevented. However, authorities like John Lee, the chief executive of Hong Kong, mentioned that citizens should not be criticizing the government for not recognizing the fire hazard. Lee stated, quote, "I will not tolerate any crimes, particularly crimes that exploit the tragedy we are facing now," end quote. Many international human rights organizations have spoken out against China and Hong Kong's strategy to handle the disapproval expressed by many citizens regarding this issue.
U.S. immigration agents have now been instructed in an internal memo to stop all final adjunctions on all cases. This halt will pause all naturalization ceremonies for migrants from the 19 countries on the U.S.'s travel ban. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services also stopped all asylum decisions in order to re-examine green card visas. As a result, asylum seekers and those on the cusp of gaining citizenship will not be able to until the halt is lifted. This comes after talks of expanding the travel restrictions from 19 countries to possibly 30 as an attempt to crack down on immigration. Spokesperson for USCIS, Matthew Tragesser, concurred, saying, quote, "The Trump administration is making every effort to ensure individuals becoming citizens are the best of the best. Citizenship is a privilege, not a right," end quote. There is now a new crash dummy test implemented by the Department of Transportation. Reporter Cora Polanski is here to tell us more.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has unveiled an advanced female crash test dummy that car makers can use to test in their vehicles. Vehicle safety tests in the U.S. use dummies designed to replicate male bodies, and because of this, advocates say it is not a coincidence that women are about 73% more likely to suffer injuries in car crashes than men, and 17% more likely to be killed. Co-scientific director of the Center for Injury Research and Prevention at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and board member of the Association for the Advancement of Automotive Medicine, Dr. Christy Arbogast, says, quote, females are not just smaller versions of males, they're put together differently. Their materials, properties, their structures is different, end quote. The new dummy is called the THOR-05F, or Test Device for Human Occupant Restraint, 5th percentile female. The new model addresses, quote, the ongoing trend of higher injury rates for women than men in certain car crash scenarios, end quote, the U.S. Department of Transportation said in a press release. The new crash test dummy will help better assess how seatbelts, airbags, and other vehicle parts protect small female occupants. Jonathan Morrison, an administrator at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, says, quote, better understanding the unique ways in which women are impacted differently in crashes than men is essential to reducing traffic fatalities, end quote.
Jose Francisco Havel is in custody after throwing Molotov cocktails into an LA federal office building on Monday. In an affidavit, Havel was upset with the current U.S. policy regarding immigrations and called his actions a terrorist attack. He threw 2 of the homemade jars at a complex of buildings that included the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement offices. One jar slid into the lobby through an open employee drawer. The other jar was thrown towards a public entrance. Havel describes his actions as an attempt to, quote, get the people who challenged him and separated families, end quote. There were no injuries in the attack, and the fire was extinguished in 11 minutes. One of the top warehouse stores, America's Costco, is suing the Trump administration. Reporter Angela Esposito has more information on the lawsuit.
Costco has become the latest company to sue the Trump administration over tariffs. The company is seeking the Supreme Court to come to a conclusion where companies are refunded the amounts of money that have been lost due to tariffs in place against imports. This comes after a case by the Supreme Court eyes the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, wondering if President Trump has illegally used his powers to impose high tax rates on key trading partners. Due to tariffs in place, U.S. importers lost around $90 billion as of late September, according to CNN and the U.S. Customs and Border Protection figures. 2025 ends in less than a month, and the final estimation total for the whole year has U.S. importers losing around $200 billion. Costco is the largest company to join the waitlist for answers and refunds. So far, the list is short when it comes down to the amount of companies suing the Trump administration, as Costco joins giant Revlon, Bumblebee, and Kawasaki as the only major companies. The timetable for when the case will settle is unknown at this time, and according to Justice Amy Coney Barrett, the potential refunding process back to these companies could pan out to be, quote, a mess, end quote.
Coming up after, the world's largest Christmas cookie exchange takes place in the Pittsburgh area. Also, a legendary local restaurant is closing its doors after 9 decades in business. The autonomous ride-hailing service Waymo is expanding their services to Pittsburgh and other major cities to, quote, validate our technology on Pittsburgh roads over the next coming months as we work towards public launch in the future, end quote. In a blog post released by the company, the cars operate on a mix of radars and cameras, removing the human aspect of driving, and will be regulated by the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. They picked Pittsburgh as PJH already has a history of self-driving vehicles, including self-driving freight Aurora. However, human drivers will be used during the testing phase, and there will be no date posted on when the service will be publicly available to Pittsburgh residents. Governor Shapiro attended a ceremony to break ground on an ambitious new Pittsburgh project called Esplanade. 15 acres of land beside the Ohio River is currently field and former warehouses, but CEO of Pyatt Companies, Lucas Pyatt, plans to build housing, retail stores, restaurants, a hotel, and a Ferris wheel. The expected cost of development is $740 million. Governor Shapiro says the Pennsylvania Commonwealth will invest $35 million. Esplanade plans to be a space not just for tourists, but for the Pittsburgh community. This past Sunday, Pittsburgh bakers from across the area attempt to set a record for the biggest Christmas cookie exchange ever created. Nearly 33 teams of bakers from across the globe gathered at the Washington County Fairgrounds to exchange their goods. Over 80,000 cookies were exchanged on Sunday, all thanks to a Facebook group titled the Wedding Cookie Table Community, who wanted to set a record while also celebrating the Christmas season. As for now, the bakers and community members eagerly await to see if an official record was set. On Saturday, Millvale's Grant Bar closed its doors after 90 years of feeding the community. The Grant Bar became a staple of the Millvale community through the years as it transitioned from a hotel to a tavern where Millvale locals could gather and enjoy another's company. Owner John Rosenberga Jr. hoped someone would be there to buy the building and continue serving the community. However, no such buyer came. Rosenberga explained how the family tried to keep the tavern open. However, the financials and their age ultimately told them it was time for the doors to close. The Grant Bar wants to, quote, thank the community for all the love, support, and memories, end quote. When we come back, we'll hear about a boy causing a lot of holiday cheer. Also hear the daily and weekly weather reports. Don't go away. Big-hearted kid is on a mission to make the holidays brighter, one teddy bear at a time. In Columbus, Ohio, 9-year-old Jack has gathered hundreds of teddy bears he plans to donate to young patients of Nationwide Children's Hospital this holiday season. His mission, which he calls Jack's Bravery Bears, aims to do just that, help kids feel a little bit braver. Jack said, quote, it all started when our family volunteered last year making blankets for kids at Nationwide End, quote. From there, he wondered if the kids might like teddy bears too. Last year, he raised 445 bears, and this year, he hopes to reach the 500 mark. They also have a GoFundMe to help the cause. Every dollar places a bear and a bit of joy, he says, into the arms of a child who needs it most. After a cold and snowy week, what will the weather look like this upcoming week? First-time reporter Brianne Cupp has the daily and weekly weather forecast.
Thanks, guys. I'm currently at Point State Park, where behind me the water is flowing. There's a massive Christmas tree waiting to be lit up. Now tomorrow we're expected to have a high of 35 and a low of 25 with sun in the morning, and it's going to progress into clouds during the afternoon. Now we're also expected to break the record of the coldest temperature recorded for tomorrow, with the record to break is 12 degrees, and the forecast is expected to be 11 degrees. Now temperatures, but with a mixture of snow and icy mix. Continue to bundle up when you head outside and try to stay warm. From Point State Park, I'm Brianne Cupp. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Bree. As you know, I am graduating in about a week. This is the part of the show I've been cynically looking forward to since I started. I generally don't know the exact time I've been a NewsNight producer. I think it just happened, and because it's UView, just felt right. I always anticipated I was going to do this speech next to Ethan, but it turns out I'm poor and a good student, so I'm doing this early. First, Dale, you're the face I saw the most, you old fart. Honestly, you were what kept me going. Every time I saw you, no matter how tired or worse for wear I was, you always said, "Look at you, you look so happy, never lose that smile." Even though I became a jaded senior, you still look at me like I could brighten a room. Every now and then I get so down, like I can't go on, and you see me that way reminds me of who I want to be. Someone who smiles and sets a room on fire, and I'll never forget that. I can't begin to tell you all how many hours I put into this studio. Ethan, I don't think I've ever so similar to me. While we may look and act different, I feel like we're telepathically connected. You're the best thing that ever happened to UView. You know exactly what to do, how to feel, how to be prepared, and while that's definitely different from me, I never felt more connected to someone in how we operate and what we see in the future of journalism, not only for UView, but beyond. Even looking back on us being roommates, we knew exactly how to cheer each other up, which was narcissism. You're gonna do amazing things, no matter how scared or unprepared you feel. You're gonna be integral to any company that takes you in. Important. To Jeff and Angelo, the producers we fought for, you're gonna do amazing things. Your dedication, your thoughtfulness is what we look for in new producers. This is a show everyone at UV looks for in quality and real life experience, and I'm confident you'll be the next producers to lead the way in getting everyone a job. Jeff, with your skillfulness in production and charisma, and Angela, with your constant need for improvement, you two will make the perfect team for the goals we strive to achieve and furthermore into your careers. More sappily towards NewsNight. Thank you. Thank you, Dale. More sappily towards NewsNight. Jules and Leslie, you two have been one of my best friends as well throughout college. UView, no matter how lame it sounds to everyone, really is a family. Knowing you're in my corner is what got me here today. You two have been with me through the worst times of my life and the best. You two will be at my wedding. You two will be aunts to my kids. Every single close friendship I've ever had will be integral parts of my life, and I could never repay that, even if journalism is not our path. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm going to miss UView. It's what I dreaded the most leaving college. I honestly can't imagine a life in my early 20s without any of you guys. Everyone here, knowing you're under the guidance of seniors and just seeing your progress and your drive towards your passion in a field that's nothing but passion is enough to know that not only the things I worked hundreds of hours towards will survive, but that you all will thrive, no doubt, in anything you achieve. The market is changing and the world is changing, but keep going no matter what, because you deserve to be happy. And if this dying, hopeful field is what you want to do, then grab it by the balls and go after at full speed with no regrets. Don't regret anything. I surely don't regret going my hardest, literally putting my blood, sweat, and tears into UView and journalism, because even if this is not my route in life, I'll be darned if I let this chance and the many more go because of this station go to waste. I love UView, and I love NewsNight, and I especially love the people that have shaped me and this station. Now that I'm all teary-eyed, thank you for tuning into this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, maybe not more of me, Check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UV Television. You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel and our website at uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Kalia Winder. For the last time, from everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.